Today on Commander Replay, we try out Jodah Archmage Eternal top 10 creatures you need to kill immediately against some very suspecting Patreon supporters. Did they bring enough removal to shoot down some of the best creatures in the game? Find out next on Commander Replay. Thank you to all of my awesome Patreon supporters. We have a new Patreon supporter, Ankur Vasavada. Ankur, you are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Also, I just want to say a quick thank you to all of my subscribers. We just hit 7,000 subscribers on the channel last week, so thank you to all of you as well. Welcome back, everyone. Playing the 10 creatures you must kill immediately deck, Jodah Archmage Eternal. Take a look at our opening hand. That's a one-lander. We're going to mulligan that one. All right, we got some lands in this one. We got some lands and some ramp, a Grave Titan, and Alchemist Refuge. Yeah, I think that should work. So I wasn't able to get every single creature from the 10 creatures you must kill immediately video into this deck, but of the 15 or so that I talked about in the video, I think I've got about 10 of them. Things like Lighthouse Chronologist and Palancron and Laboratory Maniac. This deck isn't particularly well set up to use, so I left those ones out, but most of the other ones are in here. We'll go ahead and keep this hand. So that's going to mean a lot of Titans, that's going to mean some Eldrazi, and that's going to mean other forms of nasty, nasty creatures. We're drawn to another land. We're going to need to find some card draw at some point, so hopefully we can run to that. Let's play one of these fetch lands. We'll crack a fetch. What do we have? We have red-green in hand, black-red, maybe like blue-white? Yeah, let's get a Prairie Stream. So taking a look at what our opponents are playing, by the way, I'm joined by 3 Patreon supporters this game. We have Chaotix2075 piloting this Teysa Karlov deck. Oh, by the way, I did tell opponents that I was going to be playing this deck and that they're going to want to bring some removal. So we'll see how this goes, since opponents know what's coming and should at least be mildly prepared for pretty much all of the worst creatures in the game to be coming down. So Chaotix went with their Teysa Karlov deck, assumingly running a lot of removal in black and white. Very good Aristocrat style deck, so we'll need to be careful of that one. Doc Chalk running Obsidian Ghost Council, probably on a similar train of thought. Lots of removal in black and white, so I think they also wanted to be prepared for this particular matchup. And then finally we have Z-Sauce running Yuriko the Tiger Shadow. And they did say that they had quite a few counter spells in their deck, be the removal of choice, which will also be very good against what we have going on. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. We may get into a little bit of an arch enemy situation here. We'll see how things play out. Right now our hand is not particularly fast, and we don't really have a board wipe in hand, which is usually something that I like to de-escalate a situation. So we may have to rely on someone else to do that if things get out of hand early. And Yuriko going to Mystical Tutor reveals a Toxic Deluge. All right, so making sure they got the removal early. That is good news. If someone else starts to get a little rowdy early on, Toxic Deluge can slow them down, so that'll be good for us. And here comes the Signet. So to bring it back to our turn, ooh, a Rhystic Study. That is a huge pickup right there. That's going to bring us from not doing very much to we should be able to get some card draw going, and that should be able to fuel up some things for us. So we'll play the Scalding Tarn. We'll crack the Scalding Tarn. What do we need mana-wise? We have a blue-white. We have a red-green. We have a black-red. Plateau feels like a good place to be for right now. And we'll pass like that. Ooh, Blind Obedience. So haste going to be off the table. Though we do have Return to Dust, so we may need to shoot that at some point. Zulaport Cutthroat coming down for the Obsidian Ghost Council. That was actually a card that I wanted to put on the top 10 creatures you need to kill immediately list. I had Zulaport Blood Artist at like number 12, so just barely didn't make it. But I've been dying a lot to those lately, so those are also something worth using removal on. They can be very problematic. That's a Ninja of the Deep Hours. Cool. Opponent might try and get some card draw going. And a Mox Amber. That's a pretty good one. This looks like a very low-to-the-ground Yuriko deck, and that's a little bit scary. Now, I've never actually seen one, but I've seen the deck lists, and the deck lists, they look good. They do look very threatening, and looks like they can get a lot done on a little bit of mana, so a little bit nervous about that. But we do draw into a mana drain, so that'll be helpful at some point, I think. But right now, we're going to get down this Rhystic Study. Seems like a pretty good time to do that. Next turn, we'll probably look at the Explosive Vegetation. Right now, my plan is just to get some card draw, kind of hang back for a little while if we can. Ooh, and Teysa missing a land drop. Yep, that's a bad time to do it. That will put them behind. Zulaport going to swing into the Teysa Karlov, sure. Obsidian does not play anything. Either they didn't have anything or they were trying to stay out of the Rhystic Study. One or the other. Ninja of the Deep Hour is going to come our way, sure. Opponent's going to get some card draw. Actually, well, they could probably do the Yuriko thing, I suppose. Is probably what's going to happen. Yep, here comes the Yuriko. So we're going to get hit by the Yuriko. They will reveal the top card. It's a Path of Ancestry. No life lost there. Not too bad. Yuriko actually has a lot of mana going with even just the Signet and the Mox Amber already down. And here comes the Commander Sphere. Pretty good. We do get to draw with the Rhystic Study. Hey, opponent, you want to pay for that? They have no open mana. We draw a Leyline of Anticipation. That's pretty good. Ooh, and a Soul Ring. Yeah, things just got pretty good for us. We don't have double blue for the Leyline, unfortunately. We can get there, though, with the Explosive Vegetation. Does this one come in tapped or untapped? Put them onto the battlefield tapped. Okay, that's the tapped one. So I guess we're getting down the Soul Ring. Oh, it comes in tapped. Oh, wrecked. Wrecked. Well, I guess we play the Taiga now. Yep. Oh, Blind Obedience. It got us. It got us. Ouch. All right. Well, I guess we're passing like that. Losing a turn right there. Blind Obedience. So good. I've talked about it in some previous videos about it being really good. It's the type of thing that does need to get shot down. Like, it's not just the fact that it slows you down. It's that later in the game, once that Extort trigger starts rolling off, then opponent's gaining life, and it's almost like a win condition in and of itself if opponent draws enough cards. So, really, really good. Hey, opponent, you want to pay for that? They do not pay. So, we draw into a Plains. We don't have the second black mana that we need for Grave Titans, so I think we're probably still on the Explosive Vegetation plan, and that's actually a good idea right now to take stock of what's in our hand. We need double blue. For the mana drain, we do not have double blue, so we'll need a blue source. We need a second black source, and we need a... We actually have the second white source, so we should be okay there. Here comes the Obsidat. We'll get to draw one more time. Opponent, you want to pay for that? We draw into a forest. Obsidat going to come in tapped. Blind Obedience seems really good against Obsidat. Like, really, really good. Like, it's probably not going to do anything. Well, it's going to ding us for 2. I guess that's annoying enough, but at least we're not taking 5. So the poor Cutthroat going to go on the swing into the Teysa Karlov. Phyrexian Altar coming down for that Teysa, by the way, so that's one we'll have to watch out for. That's definitely going to be a big piece of that deck. Pretty good cards to sink the Return to Dust on from the Teysa opponent at this moment in time. Opponent appears to have set these zones properly for the Obsidat. I mention it because it's rare when people do that. Here comes that Ninja of the Deep Hours back to play. See if opponent pays for the Rhystic Study. They do. Yuriko going to swing into the Obsidat opponent. Sure. Ooh, there's a Sky Shroud claim. All right, so we can get lots of mana ramp going this turn. Let's get this Forest. Do I think a Wheel's coming at any point? Those two decks probably aren't playing Wheels. Yuriko could be. Yeah, we don't have the double blue yet, so... I guess we lay down the Forest, play the Sky Shroud claim. So we need a second blue source, a second black source. Get the Tropical Island. Get the Bayou. Tough choice right here. We could go for Explosive Vegetation or hold up Mana Drain. Basically everything in our hand cost, most things in our hand cost 4, including our Commander, which is also 4. Yeah, I think we're going to hold up the Mana Drain just in case. I don't know, maybe we could have went Shields down. There's not actually that much in play. Crap. Here comes Athreos, God of Passage. Yep, that's a good one. Opponent's still missing land drops, though. Turn 5, they're on 3 lands. It's not a great place. And Rhystic Study, one more time. We draw into Swords of Plowshares. Okay. Opponent asking whether they should counter it. It's good. They do have the sack outlet, but we have a way to blow the sack outlet up. We probably should have played the Explosive Vegetation last turn and just went Shields down for a moment. Everything seemed to be fine since Blind Obedience out there slowing everything down a bit. Or even if we got the Leyline in. Because now that we know opponent has a counter, we're probably going to want to use the Mana Drain to fight through the counter spells. Oh man, we're down to 26 already? Where'd our life total go? Zulapor Cutthroat swinging into the Yuriko. Sure. And Obsidat's going to leave play again. Oh, opponent revealed an Ingarrick's Wake last turn. So that got all of us for 9. And that would explain where our life total went. Yuriko going to swing at the Teysa one more time. And Ninja of the Deep Hours into the Obsidat. Sure. So Yuriko is going to trigger twice. Ooh. We got a land. Lands are all right. Strionic Resonator. Good card, but at least it's low on converted mana cost. And then they get the draw with the Ninja of the Deep Hours. Here comes the Strionic Resonator. Rhystic Study will trigger. We draw an island. And that'll bring it back to our turn. Yeah, we should have went Shields down that turn. Ooh, there's a counter spell. So get this island into play. Definitely going to want all this double blue. Play the Leyline of Anticipation. Opponent lets the ley line go. Excellent, because we actually didn't have the blue mana that we needed right there to get our counter spells through. So, yeah. We'll pass like that. I'm just going to discard the planes to hand size. Rather hold everything up at instant speed rather than give away what we're doing right now. So, discard the planes. Plus, we have the Alchemist Refuge we can make for the land drop next turn, and we have Rhystic Study out, so high likelihood that we'll draw at least one more card before our next turn. So, plus, this is a high land count deck. I think there's 38 or 39 in here, so pretty good chance that we'll see more lands and continue to make all of our land drops. Signet coming down for the Teysa opponent. Blind Obedience and Rhystic Study trigger going on the stack. They pay for the Rhystic Study, and no mana left for the Blind Obedience. So Obsidian back to play. Gonna focus that at the Yuriko. Sounds good. Slow moving game so far. Blind Obedience put us a turn behind, and then we kind of took the last turn off unnecessarily. So we probably could have had a little bit more going. There's a Liliana Vest coming down. Let's see if opponent counters that. Opponent thinking about the Rhystic Study trigger. There's a Teferi's Protection. That's actually very helpful. Just in case Yuriko hits something really big off of their ability again, it's going to be a good place to be. So Liliana Vest coming down. Ooh, there's an Urborg. Opponent gonna use the tutor mode on Liliana Vest. Yep. With an Urborg down, I mean, Cabal Coffers is probably the best thing that they can go for. Even some spot removal to clean up some of the things on board. Blind Obedience really hitting the Obsidian hard. Just getting rid of the Yuriko one time will slow it down at least a little bit. I guess I got to board wipe the Yuriko, get rid of the other ninjas too. But, you know, anything to slow them down. See where they decide to point the ninjas? At the Teysa and at the Teysa. Sounds good to me. Someone's playing a Vampire Tutor. Who is it? I can't tell. Oh, hey. So with Vampire Tutor, they could potentially put like a turn spell on top of their deck. Do we have blue mana up for counters? We do not. I think we're probably going to burn swords on the Yuriko then. There's a Fist of Suns. That's helpful. Does any of that even matter? Whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, if we shoot Yuriko, they could ninjutsu it back, but I guess that removes it. No, that doesn't solve the problem. Do we Teferi's Protection now? Like if it's a turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, could be any of the turn spells. I mean, I assume the thing that they went for is big, so I'm just going to Teferi's Protection right now. Opponent going to delay. Okay. Rhystic Study will trigger. We draw an Asceticism. That's helpful. Well, at least it will be. So Teferi's Protection gets delayed. It gets 3 counters on it and suspended. Let's see what opponent tutor for. Probably a turn spell. Oh, Blatant Thievery. Well, they can't cast it this turn, so next turn we just need to hold up mana. Is that targeted? Each opponent gain control of target permanent, so yeah, we're probably just going to need to counter that, though. Oh, puts us down to 17. Life totals be getting low. End of combat, we are going to lay down this Fist of Suns. That resolves. There's a Glenalendra. Glenalendra's good. There's a Frost Titan. That's a good card. Teferi's Protection will count down on the suspend. So it'll go down to 2-time counters. There's a Demonic Tutor. Well, Demonic Tutor is going to be tough with the Glenalendra. Do need a board wipe to get through, though. Start by playing the land. That's the easy part. We have 9 cards in hand, so we should probably try to do something. Oh, we could always get Supreme Verdict if we can get the Demonic Tutor through. That seems like a pretty good idea. That's not a ninja. Return an unblocked attacker. Ooh, man, Glenalendra, so good. So we're going to try Demonic Tutor right here. Cyclonic Rift is a card. Blow them all up, or do we try to Cyclonic Rift? Putting Glenalendra back in the hand for 4 mana is, I mean, that's a lot of tempo loss. Or we could just go for an Ulamog. Maybe we just go for Ulamog. Or we could slam an Emrakul. How many cards? 1, 2 card types in our graveyard. Yeah, maybe we don't need to remove anything. Oh, we do have Austere Command in the deck. That's a good one. Go for something like, Kozilek is interesting with the counter spell mechanic. So a creature would be much harder for them to counter. So I'm thinking maybe we go with the creature plan. Or we go for Ugin. Yeah, we go for Ugin. That's 100% what we do. So get Ugin. Cast Ugin. Oh, Glenalendra can cast Ugin. Yep. Forgot about that. Oh, man. Yep, that's probably going to hurt us pretty badly. Yeah, nope. Should have went for a creature right there. Ulamog would have been fine. Just exile 2 things. Crap. Glenalendra. Glenalendra getting to me. What are we discarding? Right now, I guess Frost Titan. Here comes a Solemn Simulacrum. We get to draw. Forest. Oh, Alish Norn is probably the card that we wanted. Crap. Well, could use a do-over on that Demonic Tutor. Did that so fantastically wrong. before anything else, I think we're just gonna... Supreme Verdict would have been also much better right there. Yeah, basically, anything else would have been better right there than the Ugin. We do need to hold up mana. Here comes a Mind Rot at the Yuriko player. Sounds good to me. Ooh, we draw Vorinclex. Vorinclex, good. Discussing with opponents, since the Yuriko is very far ahead at this moment. Opponent going to swing into the Yuriko. Yep. So Yuriko down to 27 and 5 commander. Opponent going to use the tutor mode on Liliana Vess again. Opponent been opting to leave their Obsidat in play. Makes sense because of the Blind Obedience. There's a Cabal Coffers. Ooh, so much mana for the Yuriko opponent. Just hitting those rocks early, and now the Cabal Coffers with an Urborg down. That's a lot. Yuriko coming our way. Yep, creatures come in tap, so even flashing them down at instant speed doesn't really matter. Gonna send the Glenelendra into the Liliana Vess, which is at 1 loyalty. Yep, let's hope opponent doesn't hit big with the Yuriko ability. They reveal Phyrexian Arena. Okay, down to 13. Polluted Delta. Polluted Delta's good. See what opponent tries to do in their second main phase. They have a lot of mana. Shrieking Drake. Enters the battlefield. Return a creature you control to its owner's hand. See if they pay for the Rhystic Study. They do not. We draw a Swamp. Return the Glenelendra, probably. We could shoot the Glenelendra, but, I mean, honestly... Yeah, so they bounce Glenelendra. Get 7 mana out of the Cabal Coffers. Oh, so good. Glenelendra coming back to play. Rhystic Study triggers. They do not let us draw. I'm going to counter that Glenelendra, actually. That will save a lot of headaches. So Glenelendra gets countered. That saves some headaches. Here comes Phyrexian Arena. That means no Blatant Thievery this turn either, so we can hold up Counterspell, potentially. We draw with Rhystic Study. It's a Cascading Cataracts. Helpful for getting the mana for Wooburg. Can we do anything with Colorless? We cannot. So that actually worked out. I thought things might go much worse right there. Teferi's ticking down to 1 on the protection. So that should be coming in next turn, which will be good. And because we have Flash, we can get everything into play before it resolves. So we draw for the turn, we get another land. There's the Mana Drain trigger. We get 4 colorless mana. We'll use the Soul Ring and these 2. I guess we play... Yeah, we'll use this one. Play Vorinclex. So it's actually easier to use the colorless mana from Mana Drain right there than it is to do the Wooburg thing. Opponent floating some mana. Vorinclex down. Let's play the Cascading Cataracts. And I think we just pass like that. Opponent's going to try and Price of Fame our Vorinclex. So I think we counter with Asceticism right here. Oh, we're over-tapping. Vorinclex is in play. Vorinclex is in play. So get the Asceticism into play. Also Rhystic Study on the stack for our opponent. Opponent tapping up some more mana into the Vorinclex. They're going to try a Mana Drain. Set some of our autos correctly here. Rhystic Study in the Vorinclex. Draw into another land. Auto the Vorinclex trigger. Counterspell the Mana Drain. Draw into another land. Too many lands. We're, opponent says Counter Wars. Yep. Having trouble drawing gas this game, though. We've drawn so many cards with Rhystic Study. We've looked at so many lands. Though I guess we messed up the Demonic Tutor pretty badly, and had we not done that, things would have been significantly better for us, but whoops. So I'm kind of hoping an opponent just lays down a board wipe or something like that to slow down the Yuriko. Also, Yuriko did tap some of their lands. Looks like maybe 2 lands into the Vorinclex, so that's good news. Let's get rid of the Sacred Foundry and the Mountain. Doesn't seem like we have big needs for those at the moment. Blue and green were the colors that we were kind of choking on for a little bit right there. Opponent's going to sacrifice their Solemn Simulacrum, and it's going to get an Athreos trigger. They're going to point it at us. They can certainly have that Solemn Simulacrum back. We will not be paying life today. Opponent tapping lands into the Vorinclex. Sweet. Here comes an... Ooh, Archon of Justice. We draw yet another land. Opponent going to use the Archon of Justice. Hit us with the Athreos. They're going to shoot our Asceticism. How do I feel about that? I guess we're out of counters. I guess there's nothing we can really do about it. Yeah, I guess we're going to have to let it go. Not paying the life. Comes a Martyr of Dusk. When it dies, create a 1/1 vampire token. There's a... Ooh, Rites of Flourishing. Rites of Flourishing is very helpful to get all these lands out of our hand. And potentially draw into more big creatures. There's a ton of big creatures in this deck, and we have seen very few of them. Obsidat opponent tapping some mana into the Vorinclex. There's a Waste Knot coming down. Vorinclex Rhystic Study pretty good, because now no one's going to want to pay for that Rhystic Study. There's a Shieldred. That's also a very good one. Do we go... Shieldred, Vicious Rumors, deals 1 damage to each opponent. Each opponent discards a card. Then they put the top card of their thing into the graveyard. You gain 1 life. Okay. Vorinclex will trigger. There's an Urabrask. So I guess we could put Grave Titan into the graveyard, and yeah, that seems legit. So discard Grave Titan. Opponent's going to get 3 Waste Knot triggers. That seems pretty good. And we mill a Sun Titan. Oh boy. What's in the graveyard we can get with Sun Titan? Just lands, it looks like. So probably Grave Titan first to get some blockers. Each opponent discards 2 cards. If you control a vampire, each opponent loses 2 life. Does not appear to be any vampires in the mix. Vorinclex and Rhystic Study trigger. We draw yet another land. We're going to discard some lands. Get rid of this Mana Confluence. Life's getting a bit low for that. Also get rid of the Breeding Pool. Waste Knot triggers a bunch more times. Opponent looks like draw a lot of cards and creating a few more zombies. I mean, the bottom half of our deck has to be like all Eldrazi. We've seen most of the Titans at this point. Ooh, we draw an Enlightened Tutor. What can we do with that? Ooh, Crypt Gas coming down. It's actually a little bit scary with the Extort. Our life total is getting very low. Opponent tapping more mana into the Vorinclex. There's a Death Creature. Whenever another creature dies, you may gain 1 life. Okay. There are worse things that will Extort 1 time. More Rhystic Study action. Well, we gotta take a quick look at the deck list right here. Crucible of Worlds, Solemn Simulacrum. Mirari's Wake is a very good card. Debtor's Knell is a card. Yeah, so if we're gonna use that in anything, it looks like Mirari's Wake is probably the way to go. I think that gains life. Doesn't look like a lot of life gain in this deck. Ooh, that's an Avenger of Zendikar. Ooh, the Blatant Thievery is gone, by the way, for the Yuriko opponent, and all that discarding. Alright. Things are looking okay. I'm going to send the Obsidat into us, and the Zulaport Cutthroat into us. So what I'm going to do is tap up all our mana, play Swords on the Commander. Can't be losing that much life right here. And then get Shieldred. We can't block because of the Blind Obedience, but want to get full use of our mana right there. Yeah, with the Blatant Thievery gone, I feel much better about how things are going right here. Now, we just need to survive the hits from Yuriko. So we're down to 10. No real life gain in the deck. Whew. Very scary against Yuriko. Opponent's going to draw some cards with Painful Lesson. Okay. They tapped all of their lands into Vorinclex. Sweet. Rhystic Study will trigger. They left 1 floating. Looks like they can pay for it if they want to. We draw a Kozilek. Kozilek is cool. We won't be drawing any cards, though, since we are well above 7. Opponent does they Extort. Brings us down to 9. Yeah! Gonna have to hope they whiff with that Yuriko. So, Phyrexian Arena trigger on the Yuriko and Shieldred trigger. We need to end this game quickly. A True Conviction would be nice, but we do not. That is not a card that we have. Yuriko going on the attack. Just gotta hope that they whiff. No blocks. Walker of the Secret Ways. Oh, and I hope a Girapor we're still alive. Whoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh, there's Extort like everywhere on the battlefield. Ugh. Oh man, this is gonna be rough. Opponent goes up to 6 cards in hand. Wow, that's crazy. At least they don't have Extort yet. Ooh, Toxic Deluge X6. Oh, that's interesting. Uh-oh, Zulaport Cutthroat triggers. Yep, that's gonna kill us. That sucks. Yeah, that sucks. There we go. Down we go. Yeah, the Ugin turn was just super bad. Yeah, if I go for an Eldrazi right there, if I go for like Ulamog and just exile 2 things, that is so much better than what I ended up doing right there. Oh man. With the Teferi's Protection about to come down next turn too. We were going to be able to cast everything right before Teferi's Protection resolved, so... Obsidat going up to 42 life takes down us and the Teysa player. Yuriko down to 11, and they're going to follow up with the Soul Ring. Yep, that's what happens when you play like crap. You lose games. Bah. Obsidat is in exile. Not really sure. It said they skipped their second main. Yeah, who knows. So Yuriko lays down Walker of Secret Ways, Hope of Girapor, and Invisible Stalker. Magus of the Coffers coming down. Smothering Tithe coming down. Seems pretty good with all the card draw going on. Opponent low on cards, though. They do need to find cards. And Yuriko has the ability to draw a lot of cards. All that 1 ninja in play currently, and the Phyrexian Arena, plus 3 cards in hand. So yeah, they're gonna have probably more action than the Obsidat. Smothering Tithe triggers. Imperial Seal for the Yuriko opponent. Opponent gonna send in the Invisible Stalker and the Hope of Girapor. Be a long battle. Get him down from 42 life. Here comes Yuriko back to play. Bounces the Invisible Stalker. Opponent gets in for 1. Triggers the Yuriko 1 time. Opponent now down to 35, and they show a Brawl's Expertise. That's a good one. Opponent sacrifices the Hope of Yuriko. Until your next turn, target player who was dealt combat damage by it this turn can't cast non-creature spells. Yep, that's good. And gonna use the Brawl's Expertise. Bounces a bunch of things. Gets a free spell. Visible Stalker back to play. Methadros Vampire coming into play. Yeah, it looks like Obsidat's stuck in exile somehow. I'm not sure what happened there. But that's a really bad place for them to be. I mean, honestly, alright, so if Obsidat came back last turn, Yuriko would be at 5. And now, they would be at 3. If Yuriko doesn't win in 2 turns, then Obsidat should have won. And actually, with the Phyrexian Arena, there's still some chance that they just get there with, like, a random flyer. So Phyrexian Arena, Yuriko down to 6, Smothering Tithe will trigger. So, yeah, Obsidat just needs to survive and hope that Yuriko dies to their own Phyrexian Arena. Also, Obsidat running some, like, some of those unusual discard spells that say you lose life also. Snapcaster Mage into play. That's going to be bad. Thinking Ruinous Path. Shoot it down. Nope, goes for the Blatant Thievery. That's a good one. That's why you always run Homeward Path. Here comes Blatant Thievery. They steal the Vampire. Plays a Cover of Darkness. So Yuriko, Invisible Stalker, and Walker of Secret Ways swinging in. It's going to be 3 Yuriko triggers. Sorry, 2 Yuriko triggers and a Walker trigger. And going to Strionic Resonator one time. Gets a land, gets a Tetsuko, and a Scroll Rack. It's to look at the Obsidat's hand, and Obsidat ends up at 28. Here comes the Urborg, and here comes the Scroll Rack. Revel in Riches down. Ooh, interesting. Dark Ritual. So Revel in Riches, Soul Ring, Dark Ritual. Let's see what else they got. There's the Magus of the Coffers coming back. If opponent uses the Scroll Rack, that will trigger the Smothering Tithe a bunch. Phyrexian Arena ticking down. So Yuriko has tools, but their life is low, and still pretty good life for the Obsidat. And actually, because Obsidat shouldn't be in exile, the 2 damage from Obsidat would actually kill the Yuriko this turn. Because they would have taken now 6 damage. 5 treasure tokens for the Obsidat opponent. Opponent's going to go Scroll Racking. Might get a surprise with the Smothering Tithe right there. Smothering Tithe, the Revel in Riches. Oh, it's a put that many cards. It's not a draw. Opponent's going to cycle a Fetid Pools that will trigger the Waste Not. Gives them 2 mana. And that will trigger the Smothering Tithe. Getting there. Getting there. 6 treasure tokens. Ooh, here comes Tetsuko. Now, most of these things can't be blocked. That's bad. That is bad for the Obsidat. So, opponent sending in the team. Can a Nijitsu in and Ink Eyes, Servant of Ani. Yep, there's some stuff in the graveyard. This is Zulaport, Cryptghast, Death Greeter. Yep, there's some cards. And Snapcaster Mage coming back to play. Want to get a Mystical Tutor from the graveyard. A turn spell right here would probably do it. Treasure Cruise, that's a big one. Doesn't give him the extra turn, but it still gets a lot of damage. Yeah, interesting. This Yuriko deck has a lot of put cards into the hand that aren't necessarily draw. So not getting all these Smothering Tithe triggers that the Obsidat opponent would want. There's a Cryptghast. Or no. Yep, going for the Cryptghast. Opponent down to Obsidat down to 6, so they need something big right here. Board wipe would probably help. Don't know if Yuriko has a counterspell up. They might. Oh, it's a Demonic Tutor. They might be able to get something that just wins the game right here. See if all this resolves. Oh, Force of Will. Nope. Nope. So they just scoop it right there. Yep. So, I mean, Obsidat would have actually won if their commander didn't get randomly exiled, and they were able to recast it. Something happened with their turn. I didn't see what. They got all messed up. I messed up 2 turns in a row. Messed up the turn with Explosive Vegetation. If I just done that, having those extra lands out would have set us up so much better. If we went for Elishnorn on the turn that I tutored, that wouldn't have gotten countered, and that would have taken care of most of the creatures on the board, since everything was low toughness this game. So that's the play that I should have made. I don't know, maybe we'll take another pass with this deck. We'll see what happens. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy this video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.